Thanks, Chuck. So I think all you have to do is listening to the opening salvo of Donald Trump's State of the Union last night to know that he is wildly out of touch where so many Americans are. These were his words. He said that Americans feel better, richer, stronger than ever before. He said that is the state of our union. And I think we know very well that isn't true. You've all seen the numbers of where Americans feel, so it's not just anecdotes. But I thought the most interesting thing that I did yesterday was listen to some of the guests that my colleagues had brought to the State of the Union, including Senator Duckworth's guest, a guy named Jeremy from rural Illinois, whose premiums had gone up so much that he had to change health care plans because, of course, Donald Trump's and the Republican Party's failure to do anything about extending the tax credits. He then moved on to saying he had to get a plan with this huge deductible. He found out he had diabetes. He didn't even know if he can go to the doctor. And he started crying at what was, let's face it, press conferences that we have all the time. And he couldn't stop crying. That's the guy I thought of when I was sitting there. I thought of Senator Warnock's guest, who's trying to run a rural hospital and have seen these Medicaid cuts. I thought about my guest, a guy named Sean Severson, who is the last thing a political activist you have ever met. He is a brewer from Moorhead, Minnesota, on the North Dakota border, and he is just trying to run a business with 9 employees, and he has been walloped by these tariffs and walloped by the attacks on Canada and the lack of Canadian tourists coming to northern Minnesota and across the country. That is the real State of the Union for so many people. And since the last Tuesday, when Chuck met with all of you, we have seen the tariff decision by the Supreme Court. And for a lot of the senators, we have seen already our small businesses coming to us and say, wait a minute, he's doing this again. He's doubling down. Now there's going to be more uncertainty. We have over 100 of changes to tariffs already, and it's only going to get worse. So that chaos that we're talking about, it's not just not enough staffing at the VA or farmers trying to get loans at the USDA or the horror of 3,000 ICE agents roaming the streets in the metro, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and also, by the way, in our rural areas. It is also about the economic chaos by this man's policies. So what Abigail Spanberger and Alex Padilla asked yesterday was basically, is Trump working for you? And the clear answer for so many in this country is no. And what I was most struck by at the State of the Union, and I'll end with this, 107 minutes, 1 hour and 47 minutes, and he spent 2.9 minutes on affordability. These are NBC statistics. They must be correct. And 3.8 minutes on health care. So that's what we're dealing with right now, with someone who's the number one things on people's minds he barely even talked about. So when you ask me what's the State of the Union, I'd say you better listen to Americans and not to the guy that was in the House chamber for 2 hours last night.
Senator Padilla, who our caucus gave him huge plaudits today because he did such a good job. Even those of us who didn't understand all of his speech thought he did a great job.
Thank you. Well, I'll give away the secret. My response to the State of the Union was not too unlike Governor Spanberger. We focused on some of the same themes, and before I get to those, let me just say, going into the State of the Union, a lot of people asked, including many of you yesterday, what we were expecting. And we predicted, well, there's going to be some lies, and there's going to be some more lies, and probably some more lies on top of that, in addition to some misrepresentations and distractions from the real-world harmful impacts of the Trump and Republican agenda and track record from this last year. And unfortunately, we were right. Lies after misrepresentation.